Hey, what's up, YouTube? Red and Bordy here, back with another New World video. Today, we're going to talk all about factions. Now, we have another video covering the 3 factions and the lore behind them, but this one's going to be strictly about the war that's going on in Aeternum, how to do open world PvP, how to join a faction, all the things you need to know for the upcoming beta, and to maybe participate in Battle for New World, the beta event that's going on, Bordy.
Yeah.
And real quick, guys, I know we say this a lot, but this will be the last video we're under NDA. So it's exciting. I'm really happy to share footage with you guys, to share, gaming content, and to share our big picture ideas of all this stuff. It's going to be great, Bordy.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, dude. So let's hop right in here real quick. How to join a faction. Now, once you wash up on the shores of Aeternum, you'll be guided through a series of beginner quests on the beach. You'll need to complete these quests. If you do not complete these quests, you will not be able to access the quest in town. So do not skip these. It's in bold on the website. If you need help doing the right thing, go read the website. It's in bold. Once you complete the first few quests, you will then be directed to the closest town. You will need to continue to progress throughout the quest line, and you'll eventually be directed to meet the leader of each faction. Once you have met once you meet each of them, you will then be faced with a choice of which faction to join. Bear in mind, and this is important, that once you join a faction, you are then locked into the faction and will only be able to switch every 120 days. That's 4 months of playing for the terrible. If you didn't pick Syndicate, you got to pay for the bad team for 4 months. So you don't want to do that at all, Wardy. Tell us about companies and joining factions.
Yeah, man. So it's also important to mention that the governor or leader of your company is going to determine what faction your company fights for. So whatever faction the governor chooses, you're going to want to make sure you choose that same faction, or else you're not going to be able to join your chosen company. Yes, that is very, very important, Red. So make sure you don't screw up in beta and choose the wrong company, unless they have something in there that you can switch factions once for free or something. You may be locked into that company for the duration of beta. I'm not real sure how that's going to go yet. So make sure you choose the correct faction for your company. So the next part is open world PvP. So anyone from any faction can opt into PvP while in the open world. So bear in mind that if you're not in a faction, you're not going to be able to flag for PvP in the open world. So the ultimate goal for any person in any faction should be able to help enable your faction to control as much of Aeternum as possible, because as you do, you're going to gain buffs that include more damage against certain creatures of Aeternum, and you'll be able to find higher quantities of resources while gathering. You're going to be able to craft higher tier items, and you're going to have a little more luck while looting. So the more territories your faction controls, the more powerful you are going to become as a player, and the more powerful your faction will become. So you're going to want to go after those territories, man. So now, Red, you want to tell us about faction missions?
Yes, sir. Okay, so how does a faction control territory? Well, through war. But before you can actually declare war on another faction, that faction's control on their territory must first be undermined. And if you are a faction that's trying to maintain control, then you, as a member of the faction, must help with actively reinforcing the faction's influence. This is done by completing PvP quests in that specific territory. Upon accepting a PvP mission, you will be tasked with delivering messages or items into another territory, recovering tactical information, or patrolling a specific area. It's very important to note that upon accepting a PvP mission, you will be auto-flagged for PvP. If you unflag yourself, that will automatically make you fail those missions. You'll have to go pick them up again at your vendor to start them over. If you die at any time during the mission, you will also fail the mission and have to start the mission over again. Upon successful completion of a PvP mission, you will be rewarded with a faction currency used to purchase faction-specific gear, and more importantly, as previously mentioned, you will gain influence for your faction in that territory. This will reduce the controlling faction's influence, or it could bring your faction, obviously closer to being vulnerable to war. So please note, you can also do PvE missions for the faction, which include things like crafting supplies and defeating mobs and gathering resources. When you complete a PvE mission, you are rewarded with faction currency that can be spent to purchase faction-specific gear.
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely, man.
Tell us about war, dude.
Yeah, the most important part of a faction and the whole undermining system. So declaring war, this is going to be a huge deal during the beta, I think, with the Battle for New World event going on. New World is a territory control game at its core. So once a territory is undermined to the extent of becoming vulnerable to war declaration, then any company in the undermining faction can then declare war on that territory. So once this is done, one of the companies that has declared war will then be selected to be the Vanguard. And we'll talk about the Vanguard here in just a second. So the most active companies in the influence race will have a higher chance of being selected as a Vanguard. So if you want to be selected as the Vanguard, and again, we'll talk about the Vanguard in a second, then you need to be active in undermining that territory. So all companies in a faction are not eligible to declare war when a territory is thrown into a conflict state. So in order to be eligible, a company must have contributed at least 10% of the total influence required to throw the territory into conflict. So that's very important. Your company has to contribute at least 10% of the total influence in order to throw that territory into conflict to be eligible. So in the unlikely event that no company contributes over 10%, any company will be eligible to declare war. And the war declaration button now indicates a company's eligibility to declare war. So you will know whether or not you're going to be able to declare war, whether or not your company has met that 10%, if that war button is available to press. So if more than one company declares war on the same territory during conflict, the amount of influence a company contributed toward the conflict increases its chance to be selected at the Vanguard. So now what is the Vanguard, right? So the Vanguard, it's the responsibility of the leaders of a selected company to be the Vanguard to build out their forces with players who volunteer to fight. And the Vanguard will be the company who controls the territory if the war is won. So if you are the Vanguard, you are going to be able to select the people that participate in the war. So if there's 500 people that sign up for the war, you'll be able to select the 50 that participate, and then you're going to be the controlling company of the territory if you are the Vanguard. So this system of the Vanguard gives smaller companies an opportunity to control territory. So even if you have like a 10-man company, you're still going to have a chance to own a territory, but remember, you have to still contribute 10% of the total influence required to throw that territory into conflict. So if you're a smaller company, it's going to be a little bit harder for you, but it is possible. So if your 10-man company declares war and is selected as the Vanguard, you'll then pull in 40 other players that have volunteered to fight to help you complete your 50-man team for the siege battle. So even if you are a one-man company, you still have the opportunity to do this. Now, that would probably be pretty difficult because it's going to be hard for you to compete against the larger companies to get to that 10% mark. But hey, man, if you're on all the time, dude, you never know. You might be able to make it happen. So it's worth noting that you can't declare war against a company in the same faction as you, but you do have the opportunity to just not help them if they need more troops for siege or help in some other ways. So it's also very important to mention that even if you not want to participate in PvP in New World, you can still be a valuable contributor to your faction by making sure your faction is well supplied and supported. So, Red, do you have to join a faction in New World?
No, not necessarily, but you're missing out on a big part of the game. You should join, get behind a faction, even if you don't want to be part of a company. You want to be a lone wolf, so to say. You should definitely join a faction because I think it's an important part of New World for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Oh, there's also a faction quiz here at the bottom of newworldfans.com. New World released this a while ago, and if you haven't taken that faction quiz, now is a great time to take it before beta releases, so that if you're still undecided about what faction to choose, you should probably go Syndicate, but you can take the quiz to kind of figure that out.
Yeah, you guys don't need to take the quiz. The answer is Syndicate. Come join us. If you don't have a company, you should come join our Discord. We'd love to have you. Bordy, dude, it's going to be a ton of fun. Before we know it, dude, the next video we post, we'll be playing New World. And that's exciting, man. The beta is going to be a ton of fun. We're excited to share that with you guys and continue to produce content for the game. Now the game's going to be, when you're watching this, the game will soon be off of NDA. And it's going to be a blast covering that game and covering New World with content. So we look forward to that. Don't forget to hit the subscription button, the notification bell, for more New World content like this. And we'll see you in the next video.